What are we really experiencing? What if the dreams you experience every night aren't just fleeting images twisted by your subconscious mind, fragments of memory, emotion, and desire, but actual glimpses into alternate reality? What if, in the quiet depths of sleep, your consciousness momentarily escapes the boundaries of your body and your mind, stepping into parallel universes, experiencing lives and worlds beyond your imagination? What if, in those moments, the wall between this world and others grow thin, allowing you to peer into realms that exist just beyond the veil? It's a question that has intrigued philosophers, scientists, and mystics for centuries. What is the nature of dreams? Are they merely subconscious processing, the brain's way of sorting through the chaos of daily life? Or could they be something much more profound, windows into alternate dimensions, parallel timelines, or even different versions of yourself, living lives you've never known? In many ways, the mystery of dreams is like a hidden door, waiting to be opened. Each night, when we close our eyes and slip into slumber, we step into a world where the rules of time, space, and logic seem to bend and twist. The dream world feels both foreign and familiar, like a shadowy reflection of reality, full of strange encounters, vivid imagery, and emotions that feel all too real. But what if the real mystery of dreams lies not in what we remember when we wake, but in the deeper, uncharted realms they might reveal about the very nature of consciousness, existence, and the cosmos? What are dreams? For as long as humans have existed, we've tried to understand the nature of dreams. Ancient cultures revered dreams as divine messages or glimpses into the spiritual world. In more modern times, the psychological theories of Freud and Jung have framed dreams as expressions of the subconscious mind, revealing hidden desires, fears, and unresolved emotions. But even with all our advances in neuroscience, psychology, and dream research, one question remains elusive. Why do we dream, and what do our dreams really mean? Most scientific explanations for dreams suggest that they are a byproduct of the brain's need to process information. Dreams are the brain's way of organizing memories, sorting through emotions, and making sense of the events of the day. The activation synthesis hypothesis suggests that dreams occur as the brain tries to make sense of random neural activity that occurs during REM sleep. According to this view, dreams are nothing more than a series of random thoughts and images stitched together by the brain into a narrative that sometimes feels coherent but often defies logic. But even in this framework, something feels off. Dreams don't always seem random. Sometimes they feel strangely purposeful. They can present us with vivid, detailed landscapes, complex scenarios, and characters that seem to have their own agendas. Sometimes we dream of events that seem to foreshadow the future, or we wake up with a profound sense that something in the dream was deeply meaningful, even if we can't put it into words. There's something about the experience of dreaming that feels almost too real, too significant to be simply a random firing of neurons. Dreams as interdimensional experience. What if, instead of simply being the brain's attempt to process the day's events, dreams are windows into other dimensions or parallel realities? This is where the idea of the quantum mind comes into play. According to the quantum mind hypothesis, consciousness may not be confined to the brain, as traditional neuroscience suggests. Instead, it may be part of a much larger quantum field, one that is interconnected with the very fabric of the universe. If consciousness is embedded in the quantum vacuum, the foundation of all reality, where particles flicker in and out of existence, then perhaps our minds can tap into that field, connecting us not only to our waking reality but to other dimensions, alternate timeline, parallel universe. This would mean that when we dream, we are not just processing memories or desires, but experiencing fragments of these alternate realities, glimpses into lives we could have lived, or even parallel versions of ourselves, navigating different paths in different worlds. This idea isn't just speculative, it builds on some of the most intriguing ideas in modern physics, particularly quantum mechanics. The concept of non-locality in quantum physics suggests that particles can be instantly connected to each other, regardless of the distance between them. This phenomenon, known as quantum entanglement, defies the classical understanding of space and time and suggests that reality may be far more interconnected than we previously believed. What if, in a similar way, our minds, our consciousness are entangled with the quantum fabric of the universe, allowing us to access information from other dimensions, timelines, or versions of ourselves through the dream state? Dreams, as psychological phenomena as interdimensional experiences, the conventional view of dreams treats them as psychological phenomena, manifestations of the subconscious mind, shaped by our experiences, desires, and fears. According to this view, dreams are the mind's way of processing emotions and consolidating memories, with no deeper meaning beyond that. They are reflections of the internal landscape of the mind, filtered through the lens of memory and emotion. But what if this perspective is too limited? What if dreams are more than just subconscious processing? What if they are windows into parallel realities, alternate timeline, or interdimensional experiences? Could it be that when we dream, we are not just revisiting past memories or reliving emotional experiences, but tapping into something much deeper, a quantum field of possibility where all potential realities exist simultaneously? This is a radical departure from traditional interpretations, but it's not without precedent. In fact, many cultures throughout history have regarded dreams as portals to other realms, places where we can connect with the divine, communicate with ancestors, or glimpse into future events. In ancient Egyptian and Greek cultures, dreams were often seen as omens or messages from the gods. In modern times, shamanic and mystical traditions often treat dreams as a means of accessing higher consciousness or tapping into the spiritual dimensions of existence. These traditions may be onto something. Could it be that dreams, rather than being random or meaningless, are a form of interdimensional communication where we step outside of the confines of our own reality and experience alternate possibilities? Could dreams reveal the true nature of reality? If dreams are truly windows into other realities, then they challenge everything we think we know about the nature of reality itself. In the waking world, we experience time as linear past, present, and future, unfolding one moment at a time. We experience space as separate, distinct, the distance between us and the things we perceive as real. But in the world of dreams, these boundaries break down. Time can stretch, contract, or loop back on itself. Space can shift, twist, and distort. And the rules of physics often cease to apply altogether. Could this suggest that the dream world operates on a different set of physical laws that are not constrained by the limits of space and time as we know them? What if the dream world is a reflection of a deeper reality, one that exists beyond the boundaries of our physical senses? Could it be that the quantum mind, the idea that consciousness is not confined to the brain, but connected to a larger universal field, allows us to experience these parallel realms when we dream? This idea would mean that dreams are not just fragments of our subconscious, but potential glimpses into the quantum fabric of the universe, where all realities, past, present, and future, coexist. Our minds in these moments may not be confined to the body, but instead they extend into the quantum field, experiencing possibilities that exist outside of time and space. Are dreams the key to unlocking reality? If we embrace this speculative idea, then the next logical question is, what does this mean for the nature of reality itself? Could dreams be the key to unlocking a deeper understanding of existence? Are we all, in some way, quantum dreamers, tapping into the vast, interconnected field of consciousness that stretches across time and space, accessing the infinite possibilities of reality? And if so, what implications does this have for our understanding of the mind, the self, and the universe? As we look forward, it becomes clear that the quantum mind hypothesis offers a new frontier for understanding consciousness and the mysteries of the dream world. By exploring the possibility that dreams are not just psychological phenomena but portals to alternate realities, we may be one step closer to unlocking the true nature of the mind and the universe. In the end, dreams may be the ultimate mystery, a window into the unknown, offering us glimpses into the infinite possibilities that lie beyond our perception. Whether they are simply subconscious processing or profound interdimensional experiences, the dream world challenges us to question what is real, what is possible, and what we are capable of experiencing. What is the quantum mind hypothesis? When you wake up in the morning, you experience thoughts, emotions, and awareness, a stream of consciousness that feels uniquely yours. But what if all of this, all the richness of your mental world, doesn't originate in the brain as we've always believed? What if consciousness, instead of being simply a byproduct of the brain's activity, is rooted in the very fabric of the quantum realm, a field of energy and potential that underlies all of reality? This is the premise of the quantum mind hypothesis, a theory that suggests consciousness is not just a classical phenomenon, one created solely by the brain's complex networks of neurons, but rather something that might be deeply connected to quantum mechanics. This hypothesis proposes that consciousness arises from quantum processes in the brain, interacting with the fabric of space-time in ways we are only beginning to understand. The idea may seem outlandish at first. After all, we are used to thinking of the brain as the seat of consciousness, a biological organ that generates thought through electrical activity and chemical signals. But what if the brain is merely tuning in to a quantum field of possibilities? What if, far from being just the result of physical brain processes, consciousness is an inherent aspect of reality itself, a force that operates on the subatomic level, influencing the way we experience the world? The classical view of the mind before we explore the quantum mind hypothesis. It's essential to understand the classical view of the mind, the one that has dominated scientific thought for centuries. According to the classical model, consciousness is a product of biological process. The brain, with its billions of neurons and trillions of synaptic connections, is seen as the generator of consciousness. The firing of neurons, the release of neurotransmitters, and the intricate networks of electrical activity in the brain create the mind, a complex system that produces thoughts, emotions, and self-awareness. This view is rooted in the materialist philosophy, which holds that everything in the universe, including consciousness, can be explained by physical laws and processes. In this framework, the mind is an emergent phenomenon, something that arises when the brain reaches a certain level of complexity. The brain is the generator of consciousness, and when it ceases to function, consciousness is thought to end as well. While this perspective has yielded impressive advancements in our understanding of the brain and mind, it falls short when it comes to explaining some of the most fundamental questions about consciousness. The hard problem of consciousness, as philosopher David Chalmers famously put it, is the question of why and how subjective experience arises from purely physical processes. How do neurons firing in the brain translate into the vivid experience of seeing the color red, or feeling joy, or thinking about the future? Why does awareness emerge from a collection of molecules and electrical signals? The classical view struggles to answer these questions. This is where the quantum mind hypothesis enters the picture, offering a radically different perspective on consciousness and its origins. The quantum mind hypothesis proposes that consciousness may not be merely a product of brain activity, but rather a quantum process that operates on a deeper level than we previously understood. According to this theory, the brain might function as a quantum processor, harnessing the principles of quantum mechanics to generate awareness, thought, and perception. Quantum mechanics, the branch of physics that deals with the behavior of particles at the subatomic level, is a realm of reality where the usual rules of physics, space, time, and causality no longer apply in the way we expect. In this strange, non-intuitive world, particles can exist in multiple states at once, a phenomenon called superposition, and they can instantaneously affect each other across vast distances, a phenomenon called entanglement. In the quantum world, information is not confined to the local space-time continuum. Instead, everything is interconnected through quantum fields that permeate all of reality. The quantum mind hypothesis suggests that the brain might tap into these quantum fields, allowing consciousness to emerge not just from biological processes, but from the very quantum fabric of the universe. Rather than being a purely biological phenomenon, consciousness could be a quantum effect, a process that transcends the brain's classical activity and connects us to the deeper, fundamental reality of the cosmos. The Orch-Orr theory, one of the most influential theories in support of the quantum mind hypothesis, comes from Roger Penrose, a renowned mathematical physicist, and Stuart Hameroff, an anesthesiologist who has spent years researching the nature of consciousness. Together they developed the Orch-Orr theory, orchestrated objective reduction, which suggests that consciousness arises from quantum processes in the brain's microtubules, tiny cylindrical protein structures that are part of the cytoskeleton in neuron. Penrose and Hameroff's theory proposes that these microtubules act as quantum processors, capable of maintaining quantum coherence, a state in which particles exist in multiple states simultaneously, even in the warm, wet environment of the brain. According to Orch-Orr, when quantum effects occur in the microtubules, they collapse into a single state through a process known as objective reduction. This collapse is what generates consciousness, allowing it to emerge from the quantum field and manifest as awareness, thought, and perception. The theory builds on Penrose's earlier work in quantum gravity, which suggested that consciousness could be a fundamental aspect of the universe, much like gravity or electromagnetism. Penrose believed that traditional theories of consciousness, which focus solely on brain activity, could not fully explain the nature of subjective experience. Instead, he proposed that consciousness arises from quantum events that occur in the brain, specifically in the microtubule, where the very fabric of reality is implicated in the emergence of mind, quantum coherence in the brain. The concept of quantum coherence is central to the quantum mind hypothesis. Quantum coherence refers to the ability of particles to maintain a linked state, where the behavior of one particle is directly connected to the behavior of another, even if they are separated by vast distances. This phenomenon, seen in quantum entanglement, suggests that the fundamental particles in the brain and the microtubules themselves could be entangled in a way that connects them to the quantum field. In this view, consciousness is not just the result of neural firing patterns or synaptic connections. Instead, it is a quantum process that arises when the brain taps into the quantum field and processes information at a level far beyond the classical brain functions we are familiar with. If this is true, the brain would be able to harness non-local quantum effects, allowing consciousness to extend beyond the physical body and potentially even transcend the limitations of space and time. This hypothesis suggests that consciousness might be far more dynamic and fluid than we've ever realized. Rather than being a passive product of brain activity, consciousness might actively interact with the quantum field, influencing reality in ways that are beyond our current understanding. The fundamental shift, the contrast between the classical view of the mind, the quantum mind hypothesis, is profound. On one side, we have the classical view. Consciousness is a biological phenomenon created by the brain's electrical activity and the interaction of neurons. In this view, the brain is the creator of consciousness, and when the brain ceases to function, so does consciousness. On the other side, the quantum mind hypothesis suggests that consciousness is not confined to the brain, but is a fundamental force in the universe, capable of interacting with the quantum fabric of reality. In this view, the brain functions as a quantum processor, tapping into a deeper quantum field that allows consciousness to emerge. This theory opens up the possibility that consciousness is not a byproduct of the brain's activity, but a universal phenomenon intimately connected to the very structure of space, time, and reality. The future of the quantum mind hypothesis. We continue to explore the nature of consciousness. The quantum mind hypothesis offers a tantalizing glimpse into a new frontier of science. While much of the theory remains speculative, it has inspired a growing body of research into the connection between quantum mechanics and the mind. The Orch-Orr theory and other quantum consciousness models have yet to be definitively proven, but they challenge us to think differently about the mind, the brain, and the very nature of reality. In the end, whether consciousness is a product of the brain's activity or a fundamental aspect of the quantum field, one thing is clear: our understanding of consciousness is far from complete. As science advances, we may discover that the mind is not a localized individual phenomenon, but something much greater, something that transcends the boundaries of space, time, and physical matter. And as we continue to push the boundaries of human understanding, the quantum mind hypothesis may ultimately lead us to new insights into the nature of consciousness and the mind-bending, reality-bending mysteries of the universe itself. The quantum realm, a parallel universe of possibilities. Imagine, for a moment, that every decision you make, every thought you have, and every path you choose creates a ripple through the fabric of reality. In one version of the universe, you make a certain choice. In another, you choose differently. And in countless other realities, every conceivable version of you exists with infinite variations of your life unfolding in parallel worlds. What if within the depths of the quantum realm, all of these worlds are not just theoretical possibilities, but actual, tangible reality? This is the fascinating idea at the heart of the multiverse theory, a concept that suggests there may be an infinite number of universes, each one a slightly or vastly different version of reality. These parallel universes may exist right alongside our own, their dimensions stretching across the fabric of the quantum realm. Every decision, every interaction, every possibility creates a new branch in this vast, multi-dimensional reality, and all of them may exist simultaneously just beyond our perception. The idea of parallel universes, once relegated to the realm of science fiction, is now being seriously considered by quantum physicists. Thanks to the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, we now have a scientific framework that suggests the multiverse is not only possible, but may be an intrinsic part of the quantum nature of reality. If this is true, then the implications for our understanding of existence and even of consciousness are nothing short of mind-bending. But if the multiverse exists, could it be that our dreams are more than just random images or subconscious musings? What if, in those fleeting moments of sleep, we are not just processing memories or emotion, but actually tapping into one of these parallel realities, catching a glimpse of a version of ourselves, living a different life in a different world? Could the dreams we experience be windows into alternate dimensions where infinite versions of our lives unfold, each shaped by different choices, events, or even entirely different laws of physics? Quantum mechanics and the multiverse. To understand the potential connection between dreams and parallel universes, we first need to dive into the strange and often baffling world of quantum mechanics. At the heart of quantum physics lies the concept of superposition, the idea that particles can exist in multiple states at once until they are observed. A single electron, for example, can be in several positions simultaneously until it is measured, at which point it collapses into one specific state. This phenomenon is one of the foundational principles of quantum mechanics, and it challenges our classical understanding of how reality should behave. But what happens when you apply this principle to the entire universe? This is where the many-world interpretation, MWI, of quantum mechanics comes into play. Proposed by physicist Hugh Everett III in 1957, MWI suggests that every time a quantum event occurs, every time a particle collapses into a specific state, the universe splits, creating an entirely new branch of reality. In other words, instead of a single universe where all possibilities collapse into one outcome, MWI proposes that each possibility results in the creation of a new, parallel universe. These universes then exist simultaneously, each with its own version of reality unfolding. For example, imagine you are standing at a crossroads deciding which path to take. According to the many worlds interpretation, when you make your choice, the universe splits. One version of reality exists where you take the left path, and another exists where you take the right path. Each of these universes is equally real, but they are completely separate from one another, each unfolding with its own timeline, events, and possibilities. If this is true, then the multiverse could be vast beyond comprehension, an infinite number of parallel worlds, each containing an infinite number of versions of living different lives in different circumstances. Every decision, every moment, every potentiality could create a new universe leading to an endless web of interconnected realities. Could our dreams tap into the multiverse? So, if the multiverse exists, what does that mean for our dream? Could it be that when we dream, we are not just revisiting memories or processing emotions, but accessing these parallel universes? Could our minds be somehow attuned to the quantum realm, allowing us to glimpse these alternate realities, to experience a life we might have lived in a different world, or to interact with a version of ourselves existing in a parallel dimension? Think about it for a moment. Dreams are often deeply strange, their logic and rules completely different from the waking world. Time might stretch, events may loop, and objects or people can suddenly appear in unexpected places. Could this be because, in the dream world, we are not bound by the linear progression of time and space that defines our waking reality? What if, in the quantum realm, time is fluid and non-linear? In dreams, we may be tapping into this fluidity, stepping into alternative realities where the rules of physics and experience are entirely different. For example, many people experience lucid dreams where they are fully aware that they are dreaming and can control the narrative. Could lucid dreaming be a process of accessing a parallel universe, a version of ourselves experiencing an alternate reality where we make different choices, live different lives, and experience different outcomes? In some ways, lucid dreaming could be seen as a form of quantum exploration, a conscious interaction with the vast multiverse, where we have the ability to shape and influence the realities we encounter. Even déjà vu, that eerie sensation of having already experienced something, could be a clue to the quantum nature of our consciousness. What if, when we experience déjà vu, we are momentarily accessing a parallel reality where we lived this moment before, but in a slightly different context? Could the sensation of familiarity be a flicker of awareness that we are tapping into a version of the present that already exists in another universe? Classical understanding of reality as multidimensional existence. The classical understanding of reality, rooted in Newtonian physics, holds that the universe is a fixed, linear system. Time flows in one direction, and the events of the past influence the present, which in turn shapes the future. This worldview sees the universe as a single, deterministic entity where the laws of physics apply consistently across time and space. Our consciousness in this view is a product of the brain, shaped by neural activity, and our experience of reality is bound by the limits of our sensory perception. But the idea of the multiverse, as revealed by quantum mechanics, suggests something far more dynamic and fluid. Rather than a single, unchanging reality, the multiverse is a vast, multidimensional existence where every possibility exists simultaneously, each reality branching out like threads in an infinite web. In this view, time is not a linear flow, but a malleable, branching continuum, where every choice we make spawns a new reality. The question becomes, if the universe is truly multidimensional, and if there are infinite parallel realities unfolding at once, how do we experience only one? Could it be that consciousness itself is the key to unlocking these parallel worlds? If our consciousness is not limited to the physical body, and is instead connected to a vast quantum field of potential, then perhaps our dreams, and perhaps even our waking experiences, are glimpses into the infinite possibilities of existence, the vast potential of the quantum dreamer. If our dreams are truly windows into the multiverse, they are far more than random bursts of neural activity. They could be profound, meaningful experiences, giving us insight into the infinite possibilities of reality. In this sense, the quantum mind, the idea that consciousness is not just a product of the brain, but part of a larger, interconnected field, could be the key to understanding not only dreams, but the very nature of existence itself. If we can tap into these parallel worlds in our dreams, what else is possible? Could we consciously navigate through these realities? Could we learn to shape our experiences in the multiverse, exploring different versions of ourselves and tapping into the vast wisdom and potential of these alternate worlds. The idea that our dreams might not be mere subconscious processing, but access points to alternate dimensions, challenges everything we know about the nature of reality. It transforms the experience of dreaming from a passive activity into a quantum adventure, where our minds traverse the vast, multidimensional expanse of the cosmos, glimpsing the infinite possibilities of existence. Dreams, the gateway to the unconscious mind. We've all had those nights, the dreams that feel so real, so vivid, that they linger with us long after we wake. Sometimes they're fleeting, a blur of images and emotion. Other times, they're intense, filled with strain, characters, bizarre landscapes, and a sense of urgency. The world of dreams is a place of mystery, one where the rules of time, space, and logic seem to dissolve, and we find ourselves immersed in a world that feels almost as real as waking life. But what is the true nature of these experiences? What exactly are dreams, and what purpose do they serve? In the long history of humanity's exploration of the mind, dreams have been a source of fascination and intrigue. From ancient civilizations to modern psychology, the dream world has been seen as a realm where the unconscious mind reveals itself, a place where we confront our deepest desires, fears, and unresolved conflict. Dreams have been interpreted in many ways, but perhaps no one had a greater impact on the way we think about them than Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis. Freud's groundbreaking work on the unconscious mind laid the foundation for much of our understanding of dreams. He proposed that dreams are the royal road to the unconscious, offering a glimpse into our deepest repressed desires and unresolved emotional conflicts. According to Freud, dreams were a way for the mind to work through these issues using symbolism, to mask the true meaning behind the dream's surface appearance. But Freud's ideas weren't the only one. Another towering figure in the field of psychology, Carl Jung, had a different take on dreams. Jung believed that dreams were not only a reflection of personal unconscious conflicts, but also a way to connect to a deeper collective unconscious, a shared reservoir of symbols and archetypes that are part of the human experience. According to Jung, dreams could offer not only personal insight, but also a pathway to understanding the universal aspects of the human psyche. The neuroscientific understanding of dream, while Freud and Jung focused on the psychological and symbolic aspects of dreams, modern neuroscience has added another layer to our understanding. Neuroscientists now believe that dreams are closely tied to the processes that occur during sleep, particularly during the stage known as REM, rapid eye movement sleep. During this stage, the brain is highly active, almost as active as it is when we're awake, but our bodies are paralyzed to prevent us from acting out our dreams. Research has shown that the brain is actively processing and organizing memories, emotions, and sensory experiences while we sleep. Sleep studies suggest that dreams help us consolidate memories, integrate new information, and work through unresolved emotions. Dreams, in this view, serve as a mental housekeeping tool, helping us sift through the events of the day, making sense of them, and integrating them into our ongoing sense of self. One prominent theory in modern sleep research is the activation synthesis hypothesis, which suggests that dreams are the brain's attempt to make sense of random neural activity that occurs during REM sleep. According to this theory, the brain generates dreams as a way of interpreting and organizing the chaos of electrical signals in the brain. The dream images and stories that we experience are not necessarily meaningful in themselves, but the brain imposes a narrative structure to help us understand the randomness of the experience. Another influential theory is emotion regulation theory, which proposes that dreams help us process emotions and psychological stress. According to this theory, dreams act as a kind of emotional therapist, allowing us to confront and work through our feelings in a safe, symbolic space. For example, if you're anxious or upset in your waking life, your dreams may present you with situations that mirror those emotions, allowing you to process them and in some cases resolve the underlying issue. Could dreams be more than just mental processing? While these psychological and neuroscientific theories have provided valuable insight into the role of dreams in processing emotions, memories, and unresolved issues, there is still something elusive about the experience of dreaming. Have you ever woken up from a dream that felt so real, so significant, that it left you questioning its meaning? Or perhaps you've had a dream that seemed to foretell a future event, or one that felt connected to a place or person you've never encountered in real life. Could it be that dreams are not just a way for the brain to organize the day's event or confront hidden emotions? Could they be something more, something interdimensional? Could the dream world be more than just a mental construct, but a gateway to other realities, alternate timelines, parallel universes, or even interdimensional experiences? This is where the idea of the quantum mind hypothesis and the multiverse theory come into play. If, as quantum physics suggests, the universe is filled with infinite possibilities, each reality unfolding in parallel, could it be that when we dream, we are not merely reprocessing memories or emotions, but accessing other dimensions, other versions of ourselves, living out different lives in parallel universes? What if our dreams are not just psychological phenomena, but glimpses into the vast, multi-dimensional fabric of reality? This possibility is radical, but it is not without precedent. The idea that dreams might connect us to alternate worlds or parallel realities has been explored by various cultures and philosophies throughout history. Many indigenous cultures and ancient spiritual traditions have seen dreams as a form of spiritual communication, a realm where the boundaries between the physical and spiritual worlds blur. In shamanic traditions, dreams are often viewed as a doorway to spiritual realms or as a means of accessing wisdom from other worlds. Traditional views versus interdimensional dreams. The traditional understanding of dreams as a product of the subconscious mind, designed to help process emotions and memories, contrasts sharply with the idea of dreams as interdimensional experiences. In the classical view, dreams are psychological phenomena that reveal something about our inner lives, whether it's our desires, our unresolved conflicts, or our fears. Dreams are seen as a reflection of the unconscious mind, a place where our psyche works through hidden material to promote emotional and psychological growth. But what if there is more to it? What if dreams are not only reflections of the unconscious, but windows into alternate realities, where the boundaries of time and space break down and we are able to tap into the quantum fabric of the multiverse? Could it be that dreams are a way for our mind to access information and experiences that exist beyond the confines of our current reality? This idea challenges our understanding of the mind-body connection. In the classical model, the brain is the generator of consciousness, and consciousness is confined to the physical world of the body. But in the quantum model, consciousness might be seen as non-local, able to connect with the vast, multidimensional universe, accessing alternate realities that exist beyond our current perception of time and space. The contrast between these two perspectives is stark. On one side, we have the traditional view, dreams as psychological phenomena, arising from the unconscious mind to help us process emotions, memories, and unresolved issues. On the other side, we have the speculative view, dreams as interdimensional, experiences where our minds are not just confined to the body, but are able to step outside of the physical realm and connect with parallel realities, alternate versions of ourselves, or even entire universes that exist in the quantum realm. Unlocking the mystery of dreams. As we continue to explore the mysteries of consciousness, dreams remain one of the greatest enigmas. Are they simply mental processes helping us make sense of our waking lives, or are they windows into a deeper, multidimensional reality? Are we merely processing information when we dream, or could we be glimpsing alternate versions of ourselves, living out different possibilities in parallel worlds? The mystery of dreams invites us to question the nature of reality itself and to reconsider the boundaries between the conscious and unconscious mind, the physical and the metaphysical. Whether dreams are psychological phenomena or interdimensional experiences, they offer us a profound connection to the unknown, a glimpse into the infinite possibilities that lie just beyond our perception. As we continue to delve into the science and philosophy of dreams, one thing is certain: the dream world is a place of infinite potential, a gateway to the unconscious mind, and perhaps much more. The answers may lie not in the waking world, but in the vast, untapped realms of possibility that lie within the depths of our dream. Quantum superposition. Our dreams, multiple realities in one. Imagine for a moment that everything you've ever known about time and space, the rigid linear flow of events from past to present to future, is only part of the picture. What if, in the vast expanse of reality, multiple versions of the world, multiple timelines, multiple possibilities coexist simultaneously, and you have the ability, through your consciousness, to experience them all at once? This idea is not science fiction, nor is it some esoteric philosophy. It is rooted in the quantum realm, the strange, counterintuitive world where the rules of classical physics break down. In quantum mechanics, particles don't just exist in one state at a time. They can exist in multiple states simultaneously, a phenomenon known as quantum superposition. This concept allows particles to be in different places or to have different properties all at once. In the quantum world, the usual laws of time and space that we are accustomed to in our everyday experience simply do not apply in the same way. But what if consciousness itself could tap into this quantum potential? What if our mind, when we sleep and dream, operate in a similar fashion, allowing us to experience multiple versions of reality simultaneously? Could our dreams be a way for our consciousness to access parallel worlds, alternate timelines, and infinite versions of ourselves, all unfolding in parallel, just as quantum particles exist in multiple states at once? The mystery of quantum superposition. To understand how this idea might work, we first need to explore the concept of quantum superposition in greater detail. Quantum superposition is one of the most fascinating and baffling principles in quantum mechanics. It suggests that at the microscopic level, particles such as electrons or photons can exist in multiple states simultaneously. Rather than having a single, definite position or energy, a particle in superposition can be in all possible states at once. Take, for example, the famous thought experiment known as Schrödinger's cat. In this hypothetical scenario, a cat is placed inside a sealed box with a radioactive atom. If the atom decays, the cat dies. If it doesn't decay, the cat lives. According to quantum mechanics, until the box is open, the atom exists in a superposition of both decayed and undecayed states, and therefore, the cat is both alive and dead at the same time, a concept that seems absurd in the classical sense, but is a real feature of quantum systems. This principle of superposition is not limited to just particles. It applies to everything at the quantum level, suggesting that multiple possibilities coexist until the moment of observation. When a measurement is made, the superposition collapses into a single state, but before that point, the system exists in a vast field of potentialities, with multiple possibilities happening in parallel, consciousness and superposition. A quantum leap? Now imagine if consciousness itself could function in a way that mirrors quantum superposition. Could our minds, during the dream state, be tapping into these parallel possibilities, experiencing multiple realities at once? Could our consciousness, in the absence of the physical limitations of our waking minds, access multiple versions of reality, just as quantum particles do? Think about the experience of dreaming. When we dream, time and space lose their usual boundary. Events and people in our dreams can shift unpredictably. In one moment, we could be in a familiar place, only to be transported to another world. In the blink of an eye, we can experience alternative versions of ourselves, different choices, different paths, different outcomes. Sometimes we may even feel as if we are living multiple lives in a single dream, switching between versions of ourselves, each living a different reality. What if, instead of being a random collection of memories and emotions, these dreams are glimpses into parallel universes, multiple realities unfolding in the quantum realm? What if, just as quantum particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously, our minds can experience these multiple versions of reality, experiencing them all at once in the fluid dream state? Parallel universes and multiple realities. This idea is deeply connected to the concept of the multiverse, the theory that our universe is not the only one, but is part of an infinite collection of parallel universes. In this view, every decision, every action, and every possibility creates a new branch of reality, each one unfolding with its own timeline and set of circumstance. If the multiverse theory is correct, then every potential reality exists simultaneously, each version of events playing out in its own parallel universe. Could our dreams, in some way, allow us to experience these other realities? Could we, through our consciousness, access parallel universes that exist just outside of our waking perception? Quantum mechanics suggests that the boundaries between these universes may not be as rigid as we think, and our minds as quantum systems themselves might be capable of tapping into these infinite possibilities when we dream. For example, in one dream, you might find yourself living a completely different life in an alternate version of Earth, where historical events played out different, or where you made different decisions. In another, you might encounter a version of yourself living in a parallel timeline, experiencing an entirely different set of circumstances. Could these dreams be the brain's way of navigating the quantum multiverse, accessing possible versions of you of reality that exist across infinite dreams as quantum superposition? The more we delve into this idea, the more it seems that dreams could serve as a kind of quantum superposition of realities. In the waking world, we experience only one reality, the one in which we are currently living. Our consciousness is grounded in this single, linear timeline, and our experiences unfold one moment at a time. But in the dream world, where the usual rules of time and space don't apply, our minds might be able to experience multiple possibilities at once, just as quantum particles exist in superposition. In this sense, dreams could offer a unique opportunity for our consciousness to explore the vast, multidimensional nature of reality. Instead of being confined to the linear progression of time and space, dreams could be a way for us to experience multiple realities, parallel universes, alternate timelines, and different versions of ourselves all at once. The world of dream might be a quantum playground where the boundaries between possibilities blur and our minds are free to explore infinite reality. Linear reality versus quantum possibility. The contrast between the classical view of reality and the quantum understanding of multiple simultaneous realities is stark. On one side, we have the traditional linear view. Reality is fixed, time flows in one direction, and space is a constant, unchanging backdrop. In this view, there is one universe, one timeline, one version of events. Our consciousness is tied to this single reality, and when we sleep, our dreams are a byproduct of our brain processing memories and emotion. On the other side, we have the quantum possibility. An infinite number of realities exist simultaneously, each unfolding with its own set of possibilities. Our consciousness, rather than being confined to one reality, might be capable of experiencing many, tapping into this vast, multidimensional fabric of existence when we dream. In this quantum view, dreams are not just random or meaningless. They are glimpses into alternate versions of reality, parallel universes where different choices, different versions of ourselves are playing out. The infinite potential of dreams. If this is true, then dreams are far more than just subconscious processing. They are windows into the vast potential of the quantum multiverse, offering us glimpses of infinite possibilities and alternate versions of our. Every dream is an invitation to explore the infinite a chance to experience what might have been, what could be, or what already exists in another parallel universe. When we dream, we are not just revisiting our memories or working through our emotions. We are experiencing the quantum potential of the universe, tapping into the limitless possibilities of the multiverse. And in doing so, we may be uncovering the true nature of consciousness, not as a fixed, linear phenomenon, but as a vast quantum system, capable of experiencing multiple realities at once. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the quantum realm and the nature of dreams, we are left with a profound question. What if our dreams are not just reflections of our waking lives, but pathways to the infinite, multi-dimensional possibilities that exist just beyond our perception. The many worlds interpretation. Are dreams portals to other reality? What if your dreams are not just fleeting mental images, but actual windows into alternate realities, portals into parallel worlds where other versions of you are living out completely different lives? What if, when you sleep and dream, you are not just revisiting memories or processing emotion, but accessing different branches of reality, each one the product of a different decision, a different possibility, a different version of yourself? This is the mind-bending proposition that emerges from the many worlds interpretation, MWI, of quantum mechanics, one of the most fascinating and controversial theories in modern physics. According to MWI, every quantum decision, every moment, in which a particle can choose between different states, creates a new branch of reality, a separate universe where each possibility plays out. This theory suggests that our universe is not singular, but part of a vast multiverse, with an infinite number of parallel realities coexisting simultaneously, each one a different version of the world where the events of our lives have unfolded differently. But what if these parallel universes are not just abstract possibilities? What if, through the mechanism of dreaming, our minds are able to tap into these alternate realities, glimpsing other versions of ourselves, versions that exist in different timelines, with different outcomes, different choices, and different lives? Could our dreams be more than just reflections of our subconscious? Could they be portals to alternate versions of us, living out alternate lives in the quantum multiverse? The many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. To understand the possibility of dreams as windows into parallel universes, we first need to explore the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. This theory, first proposed by physicist Hugh Everett III in 1957, offers a radically different view of how quantum mechanics works, one that directly challenges our classical understanding of reality. At the heart of quantum mechanics is the concept of superposition, the idea that particles, such as electrons, can exist in multiple states at once. When a particle is in superposition, it doesn't have a definite position, momentum, or energy. It exists in all possible states simultaneously. It's only when we observe or measure the particle that its superposition collapses into one definite state. The problem with this is that the act of observation, according to classical mechanics, should not affect the reality of the particle. But in quantum mechanics it does. This creates a paradox. How can a particle exist in multiple states only to collapse into one when observed? And if it can collapse into only one state, how does it account for the other states, the other possible versions of? This is where the many worlds interpret. Everett proposed that instead of collapsing into a single state, every time a quantum decision is made, the universe splits, creating a new parallel universe where each possibility is realized. This means that when a quantum event occurs, the universe divides into multiple branches, with each branch corresponding to a different outcome. Each time you make a decision, no matter how small, it creates a new universe where a different version of you exists, living out a different outcome based on the choices you made. In the context of the quantum multiverse, every potential reality, every version of you, every decision you could have made exists simultaneously in separate parallel universes. These universes are not just theoretical, they are just as real as the one we experience. The multiverse is vast, and within it, there are infinite versions of you living infinitely different lives. Could dreams be windows to parallel realities? Now let's bring this quantum theory into the realm of dream. If, as MWI suggests, there are infinite versions of reality, each one unfolding from different choices, different moments, and different events, then could our dreams be glimpses into these alternate realities, these parallel worlds, where different versions of ourselves are living out different lives? We all have had dreams that feel oddly familiar, as if we've experienced them before or have a connection to the characters or places in them. Some dreams are incredibly vivid, with a sense of realness that is hard to distinguish from waking life. Could it be that when we dream, we are not just tapping into our subconscious, but actually experiencing a version of ourselves living a different life in a parallel universe. Think about the possibility. Perhaps the version of you in one universe is a famous artist, while in another you are an explorer discovering unknown land. In one parallel world, you might be happily married with children. In another, you might live alone, pursuing a different career path. These parallel universes could be vastly different from the life you lead in this reality, with different historical events, different decisions, and entirely different timelines unfolding. When you dream, could your consciousness be slipping into one of these alternate versions of yourself, experiencing life in a world where things turned out differently? Could you be experiencing what might have been a parallel reality where different choices led to different outcomes? In this sense, dreams could be a quantum portal, offering us fleeting glimpses into the many versions of ourselves, each one existing in its own timeline, in its own universe. The nature of dream: internal versus external experiences. The traditional view of dream, as shaped by psychology and neuroscience, is that they are internal experiences, products of the unconscious mind, the brain's way of processing memories, emotions, and unresolved issues. According to the Freudian and Jungian schools of thought, dreams serve as a window into the unconscious, helping us make sense of our inner worlds and confront repressed emotion. Neuroscientific theories like the activation synthesis hypothesis suggest that dreams are the brain's attempt to make sense of random neural activity during sleep. In this view, dreams are a reflection of the mind, a mental construct that helps us process our waking life. Dreams are seen as personal experiences shaped by our emotions, memories, and desires, and they offer insight into the unconscious processes that govern our behavior and emotions. But what if this view is too limiting? What if dreams are not merely internal experiences but external gateways, windows into parallel universes where we encounter different versions of ourselves living out alternate lives? What if, when we sleep, our consciousness is not confined to the brain but instead can travel through the multiverse, accessing different realities where we live different lives? This contrast is stark. On one side, we have the classical view of dreams, internal experiences that reveal something about our psyche, a process of emotional and psychological processing. On the other side, we have the quantum view of dreams as portals to parallel universes where our minds can tap into alternate realities and experience different versions of ourselves, living out divergent lives. The multiverse and the infinite possibilities of dreams. The possibility that dreams could be connected to the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics opens up an entirely new way of thinking about dreams. If, as MWI suggests, every quantum decision creates a new universe, a new reality, then could our consciousness, when we dream, be accessing those alternate universes? Could the strange, unpredictable nature of dreams, their fluidity, their illogicality, their ability to transport us to different worlds, be a reflection of the infinite possibilities that exist within the quantum multiverse? In this view, dreams are not just personal experiences but quantum encounters where we briefly tap into the vast web of parallel realities. In one dream, you might be walking down a familiar street, but in another, that same street could lead you into an entirely different life, a different world where different choices have shaped your existence. Could these dreams be the quantum echoes of other versions of yourself, existing simultaneously in other universes? As we begin to understand the vast potential of the multiverse and the many possible versions of reality, the question becomes, are we truly limited to the reality we experience in the waking world? Or is the universe far more expansive, offering us glimpses into the infinite possibilities of the multiverse, where every decision creates a new, parallel universe? The infinite realities of dreaming. The idea that dreams might be more than just internal process, that they might be glimpses into parallel universes where different versions of ourselves exist, is a profound and exciting possibility. As we continue to explore the nature of the quantum multiverse, we may find that the dream world is not just a mental construct, but a portal to infinite realities, offering us a unique way to experience the vastness of existence. As we drift into sleep each night, our minds may be traversing the quantum fabric of reality, visiting alternate versions of ourselves, living out different lives in parallel universes. Dreams, then, may not just be reflections of our subconscious, but may be a glimpse into the infinite potential of existence, a universe where every choice, every possibility creates a new, unfolding reality. Perhaps in the end, our dreams are not just a reflection of who we are, but a window into who we could be, living infinite lives across the quantum multiverse. Could our mind access the multiverse? What if your mind is more than just a classical information processor? What if, hidden within the folds of your brain, is a quantum computer capable of accessing the deepest layers of reality, tapping into the vast, multidimensional quantum field? What if the incredible power of the human mind, the seat of consciousness, is not confined to simple neural activity, but extends into the realm of quantum mechanics, able to process information on a level that transcends traditional physics, connecting us to parallel universes and alternate timelines? The idea that the brain could function as a quantum processor is one of the most fascinating and controversial ideas in modern neuroscience and quantum physics. It suggests that consciousness is not just a product of classical brain processing, a byproduct of neural activity and synaptic firing, but something that might be fundamentally quantum in nature, capable of tapping into quantum states, interacting with the quantum vacuum, and even accessing the multiverse itself. This hypothesis opens up a world of possibility. If the brain could harness quantum coherence, if it could process quantum information, then perhaps the mind isn't limited to just one version of reality. What if consciousness itself could travel through the multiverse, experiencing multiple parallel worlds simultaneously, as we've speculated with dreams? Could the mind be capable of accessing not just alternate versions of our present reality, but entire universes where every decision and possibility is playing out in a web of quantum entanglement? The classical view of the brain, information processing, and neural activity. To understand the quantum mind hypothesis, we need to first look at the classical view of the brain. For decades, neuroscientists have understood the brain as an information processing system, a complex network of neurons and synapses that work together to process stimuli, store memories, and generate thoughts and action. The brain takes in information from the world through the senses, processes it, and produces responses in the form of thoughts, emotions, and actions. The brain operates on classical principle. Electrical impulses travel between neurons, transmitting signals via chemical neurotransmitters. This system of processing is highly effective, allowing for complex cognition, emotion, and behavior. Through this mechanism, the brain performs the remarkable task of creating consciousness, the experience of being aware, of having a subjective point of view. But the classical model has its limitations. While we've made incredible strides in mapping brain activity to thoughts and action, and while we understand much about how the brain processes information, there is still no definitive explanation for why or how this neural activity translates into subjective experience. Why should a specific firing pattern of neurons lead to the feeling of being aware? Why does the brain produce the rich tapestry of consciousness, thoughts, emotions, memories, and dreams from what appears to be a network of physical, biological structures? This is where the quantum mind hypothesis comes in, offering a radically different perspective on consciousness. Rather than viewing the brain as a classical information processor, it suggests that the brain may be operating on quantum principles, capable of processing information in ways that are far more complex and interconnected than we've imagined. Quantum coherence in the brain, a window into the quantum mind. At the heart of the quantum mind hypothesis is the concept of quantum coherence. The idea that quantum particles, like electrons or photons, can exist in multiple states simultaneously, maintaining a kind of interconnectedness that transcends classical physical limitation. This state of coherence allows quantum systems to process information in a way that classical systems cannot. Quantum coherence is best known from the double-slit experiment, where particles, such as electrons, behave as if they are both particle and waves existing in multiple states at once. When observed, these particles collapse into a definite state. Until then, they exist in a superposition, a quantum state where multiple possibilities coexist simultaneously. Now imagine that the brain's neurons, which process signals, transmit information, and store memories, could function in a similar way. Could the synaptic connections in the brain be entangled in a quantum state, allowing information to be processed in multiple ways at once across vast networks of neurons? Could the brain harness quantum coherence, creating a dynamic system that processes information not just within the confines of classical physics, but through the strange, non-local principles of quantum mechanics? Some researchers believe that microtubules, tiny structures within neurons that provide structural support, could be the key to this quantum processing. The theory, known as the OR theory, orchestrated objective reduction, proposed by physicist Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff, suggests that microtubules could harbor quantum coherence within the brain. These quantum states could allow the brain to process information in ways that classical systems simply cannot, connecting consciousness to a deeper quantum reality. According to Penrose and Hameroff, these quantum processes in the brain could be responsible for the emergence of consciousness itself, allowing the mind to interact with the quantum field and potentially even tapping into other dimensions or parallel universe. This theory connects quantum mechanics to the very essence of awareness, suggesting that the brain may not just be a biological processor of information, but a quantum device capable of interacting with the fabric of reality at a fundamental level. Could the brain access the multiverse? If the brain is indeed capable of processing quantum information, then it opens up an incredible possibility. Could the mind, through quantum coherence, be able to access the multiverse? Could it reach beyond the boundaries of space and time, interacting with alternate realities, parallel timeline, and infinite versions of ourselves? The many worlds interpretation, MWI, of quantum mechanics, which posits that every quantum decision branches off into a new universe, fits seamlessly with the idea that the brain could access multiple realities. If the mind operates as a quantum processor, then it might be able to tap into the vast web of parallel universes, accessing other versions of itself in alternate realities where different choices have led to different outcomes. This would suggest that when we dream, we are not just processing information or working through emotion. We might actually be traveling through parallel universes, encountering versions of ourselves living different lives, or interacting with alternate versions of reality where different events unfolded. If consciousness is quantum in nature, it could very well have the ability to access these parallel worlds, tapping into the infinite possibilities that exist within the multiverse. Classical brain versus quantum processor. The contrast between the classical view of the brain and the quantum mind hypothesis is profound. On one side, we have the traditional information processing system, the brain as a biological organ where neurons transmit electrical signals, generating thoughts, memories, and experiences. In this view, consciousness arises from the brain neural activity, and it is confined to the physical reality of the body. On the other side, we have the idea of the brain as a quantum information processor. In this model, the brain operates not just on classical principles, but also taps into the strange, interconnected realm of quantum mechanics. Consciousness is not just an emergent phenomenon of brain activity, but a deeper quantum process, a non-local, multidimensional system capable of accessing parallel realities, interacting with the quantum field, and processing quantum information in ways that go beyond our physical limitation. The possibility that the brain functions as a quantum processor challenges our basic understanding of the mind, the self, and the universe. If this theory is true, then the mind is not just bound by the body, but is interconnected with the vast quantum fabric of reality. The multiverse, an infinite web of parallel universes, may be far closer to us than we've ever realized. Our consciousness might be able to slip between these worlds, experiencing multiple versions of reality simultaneously, as quantum coherence allows us to access infinite timelines. The quantum brain and the infinite possibilities of consciousness. The idea that the brain could function as a quantum processor opens up an exciting, mind-bending frontier for understanding consciousness. If the brain operates on quantum principles accessing the quantum field and tapping into parallel realities, then our consciousness is far more powerful and far-reaching than we have ever imagined. Whether we are exploring alternate versions of ourselves in our dream, accessing parallel timelines, or interacting with the quantum field in ways we can't yet comprehend, the potential of the quantum brain is vast and transformative. As we continue to explore the intersection of quantum mechanics and consciousness, we may find that the mind is not just confined to the body, but is part of a much larger, more interconnected reality, one that stretches across dimensions, across time, and across the infinite possibilities of the multiverse. The quantum mind hypothesis may change everything we know about consciousness, and perhaps in the process, we will unlock the greatest mystery of all, the true potential of the mind and its ability to connect to the deepest, most profound layers of reality. Lucid dreaming and parallel universe, a glimpse into other world. Have you ever woken up in the middle of a dream, only to realize that you're dreaming? Perhaps in that moment, you gained control over the dream, flying through the sky, changing the scenery at will, or conversing with dream characters who seemed just as real as anyone in your waking life. This experience is known as lucid dreaming, and for many, it is a mind-expanding encounter with the nature of consciousness and reality. But what if lucid dreaming is more than just a phenomenon of the mind? What if it's not merely a form of mental processing, an extension of subconscious imagery, but a gateway, a bridge to other worlds, other realities, or even parallel universes? What if, in those moments when you become aware of the dream state, you're not just tapping into your unconscious thoughts and desires, but accessing alternate reality, each existing simultaneously in the vast quantum multiverse? Lucid dreaming is the ability to become aware of and control your dreams. This practice, long explored by dream researchers and individuals alike, has fascinated those who experience it with its potential for self-discovery, creativity, and exploration. But beyond its personal and psychological significance, could lucid dreaming be more than just a mental construct? Could it be a portal to alternate dimension where the boundary between dreaming and reality becomes porous, allowing consciousness to travel between worlds? What is lucid dreaming? Lucid dreaming occurs when the dreamer becomes consciously aware that they are dreaming while still inside the dream. This sudden awareness can occur at any point during the dream, and once it does, the dreamer may gain varying levels of control over the events of the dream. Some lucid dreamers can simply observe the dream, while others can manipulate the dream's environment, characters, and storyline with remarkable ease. Lucid dreaming is not a new phenomenon. It has been documented for centuries, with ancient texts from cultures around the world referring to dreams that could be consciously controlled or manipulated. However, modern research has only recently begun to explore the neurological and psychological aspects of lucid dreaming in greater detail. Studies using EEG and fMRI have shown that lucid dreamers exhibit brain activity that is similar to being awake, particularly in the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for self-awareness, decision-making, and executive function. The experience of lucid dreaming is often described as incredibly vivid and lifelike, with dreamers reporting that the dreams feel hyper-realistic, as though the world they're inhabiting is just as tangible and solid as the waking world. This sense of realness, combined with the awareness that the dreamer is still asleep, raises fascinating questions. Could lucid dreaming offer a glimpse into parallel realities? Could these hyper-realistic dreams be more than just internal mental constructs and instead be experiences in other worlds governed by different laws of physics, time, and space? Mental construct or bridge to other reality. From a psychological perspective, lucid dreaming is typically viewed as a form of mental control, a phenomenon where the dreamer gains awareness of the dream state and is able to manipulate it to some degree. This view aligns with the traditional understanding of dreams as subconscious processes, where the mind organizes memories, emotions, and experiences into a narrative during sleep. Lucid dreams in this context are seen as a mental construct, a reflection of the mind's inner workings and a way for the subconscious to communicate with the conscious mind. However, there's another, more speculative view that has gained traction in recent years. What if lucid dreaming is more than just a mental construct? What if lucid dreams are a portal, a direct link to parallel universes, alternate realities, or even other dimensions? What if the very experience of awareness in a dream state is a glimpse into a version of reality that exists outside of time and space as we know it? The idea that dreams, and especially lucid dreams, might be connected to parallel universe isn't just a wild hypothesis. It draws from the principles of quantum mechanics, particularly the concept of the many worlds interpretation, MWI. As we've explored before, MWI posits that every decision and event in the quantum realm causes the universe to split, creating an infinite number of parallel realities where different versions of events play out. Could lucid dreaming allow us to tap into these other versions of reality, accessing parallel universes where different choices or circumstances have led to entirely different outcomes? The vividness of lucid dreams, could they be otherworld? One of the most striking features of lucid dreams is their vividness. Many lucid dreamers report that their dreams are as real as waking life. The colors, sensations, emotions, and experiences feel as though they are happening in the physical world, not in the mind's eye. These dreams are hyper-realistic, filled with intricate details and a sense of immersion that's hard to distinguish from reality. This vividness could be indicative of something far deeper than just mental activity. If we accept the idea that the mind may be interacting with quantum states during dreaming, then it's possible that lucid dreamers are not simply constructing a dream world, but perceiving a parallel reality, one that exists in a quantum superposition of possible worlds where different choices have led to different outcomes. For example, in a lucid dream, you may find yourself in a city that feels completely familiar, yet unlike anything you've ever seen before. Perhaps you encounter versions of yourself living a different life, making different decisions, or pursuing different paths. In some dreams, you might find yourself exploring a world where the laws of physics behave differently, where time flows in reverse, or where otherworldly beings interact with you. Could these hyper-realistic worlds be actual parallel universes created by different outcomes in the multiverse? Lucid dreaming offers a unique opportunity to explore these possibilities, in the mind experiencing them in a controlled state of awareness. Some lucid dreamers even report visiting the same dream world multiple times, suggesting a continuity of experience that could be indicative of a consistent parallel reality, not just an ephemeral mental construct. The connection between lucid dreaming and quantum mechanics. If lucid dreaming could indeed be linked to parallel universes, it would align with several aspects of quantum mechanics. In particular, the idea that reality exists as a superposition of possible states, with every possibility existing simultaneously until observed, fits well with the experience of dreaming. Just as quantum particles exist in multiple states until they are observed, our minds could be interacting with these multiple realities, each one a possible outcome of decisions, actions, or events. The quantum principle of non-locality, the idea that particles can be instantaneously connected regardless of distance, also resonates with the idea of lucid dreaming as a portal to other worlds. Could it be that our consciousness in the dream state is somehow entangled with these parallel universes, allowing us to perceive them in ways that we can't access while awake? If the brain is capable of processing quantum information, as some researchers suggest, could lucid dreaming be a state where we are able to access non-local information, tapping into other realities that exist in the quantum field? This hypothesis, though speculative, offers an exciting possibility. Lucid dreaming might not just be a product of the brain, but a method of interacting with the quantum multiverse, a bridge between dimensions where we can consciously navigate and explore alternate versions of ourselves and the world around us. mental construct versus interdimensional access. The contrast between these two views of lucid dreaming is profound. On one side, we have the psychological lucid dreaming as a mental construct, a product of the subconscious mind that helps us process emotion, confront unresolved issues, and explore our inner world. According to this view, lucid dreams are simply a reflection of our psyche, a manifestation of the unconscious mind's need to communicate with the conscious self. On the other side, we have the quantum view, lucid dreaming as a bridge to parallel universes where our consciousness is not limited to a single reality but can access infinite possibilities. In this view, lucid dreams are more than just internal reflections. They are windows into alternate worlds where different versions of ourselves live out different lives in different dimensions. The vividness and realness of these dreams are not merely mental constructs but glimpses into the vast, interconnected multiverse where every choice, every action leads to the creation of new, branching reality. This contrast forces us to reconsider what it means to dream. Are dreams simply products of our minds, or are they something much more profound, a way to access the quantum fabric of reality, tapping into parallel universes that exist just beyond our perception? Lucid dreaming as a portal to infinite possibilities. Lucid dreaming, whether understood as a mental construct or a quantum gateway, remains one of the most fascinating aspects of human consciousness. Its vividness, its ability to connect us to alternate versions of ourselves, and its potential connection to parallel universes make it a truly extraordinary phenomenon. Could lucid dreaming be more than just an experience of self-exploration? Could it be a gateway to the multiverse, allowing us to step into parallel worlds and interact with alternate realities, experiencing lives we could have lived, and exploring infinite possibilities as we continue to explore the mysteries of lucid dreaming? We may find that it is not just a reflection of the mind, but a bridge between dimensions, a doorway to the infinite, interconnected realities that exist within the quantum multiverse. Whether we're exploring alternate versions of ourselves or glimpsing worlds that could have been, lucid dreaming may be our key to the vast, untapped potential of consciousness and the infinite realities that lie just beyond our waking world. The Mandela effect. Could collective memory point to parallel universes? There are certain memories that once in a while seem to defy explanation. You remember a well-known event, an iconic phrase, or the name of a famous person, but when you check, you discover that the details don't match what you recall. It's as if the reality you remember has suddenly shifted. You know what you saw, you know what you heard, but the world around you tells a different story. This phenomenon, often referred to as the Mandela effect, is one of the most mysterious and perplexing aspects of human consciousness. It is named after Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa, because many people vividly remember him dying in prison in the 1980s, despite the fact that he passed away in 2013. But the Mandela effect isn't limited to just one historical figure. It spans a wide range of collective misremembered events, from minor details to significant historical occurrences. People have false memories of things like the Berenstain Bears, believing it was spelled Berenstein, or the famous line from Star Wars, "Luke, I am your father," which in reality is "No, I am your father." Could this widespread phenomenon, these collective memories that don't match reality, be more than just faulty recollections or brain quirk? Could they actually point to something far more profound, something related to the very nature of reality itself? What if, instead of simple memory errors, these mismatched recollections are evidence of parallel universes bleeding into our own, with memories crossing over from other versions of the world? And could this strange phenomenon also be connected to the world of dreams, those shared experiences that seem so vivid, so real, but are inherently intangible? Could the Mandela effect, in its most bizarre form, be a window into the multiverse, where alternate timelines and realities slip into our collective consciousness? What is the Mandela effect? The Mandela effect is a term used to describe a situation where a large group of people remember an event, detail, or fact differently than it occurred. It often involves false memories that are vivid and shared by many individuals across various geographic regions and cultures. The term was coined by paranormal researcher Fiona Broome in 2009 after she discovered that she, along with many others, mistakenly remembered Nelson Mandela's death in the 1980s, even though he actually passed away in 2013. Since then, the Mandela effect has become a fascinating and widely discussed topic, especially in online communities where people exchange stories about memories of events that seem to contradict the official accounts. These false memories are often very detailed, and many of them involve things that seem commonplace, like famous movie quotes, brand names, and well-known events that people could have sworn happened a certain way. The Mandela effect doesn't just involve one or two people experiencing a memory mistake. It's a shared phenomenon. Thousands, sometimes millions of people may recall the same misremembered event. The most intriguing aspect of this effect is that it isn't confined to a small group of people. It's a collective memory shared by large population. It's as though a glitch in reality has allowed multiple people from different places to have the same false memory. Theories behind the Mandela effect. There are several explanations for the Mandela effect, ranging from the psychological to the paranormal. One of the most common theories is that these memories are simply the result of brain mechanisms like false memory formation or confabulation. The brain is not a perfect recorder of information. It is prone to errors, especially when it comes to recalling details over long periods of time. As we age, our memories may blend with other experiences or be influenced by external information, creating the illusion of a false memory. Another explanation is that the Mandela effect is a result of the brain's cognitive biases. The confirmation bias leads us to search for and remember information that aligns with our beliefs, while the misinformation effect occurs when misleading information influences our memories, causing us to recall details incorrectly. However, these psychological explanations don't fully account for the widespread nature of the Mandela effect. After all, thousands of people cannot all be experiencing the same cognitive biases in exactly the same way. This is where the more speculative theories come into play. One such theory is that the Mandela effect is evidence of parallel universes or alternate timeline. According to this theory, the Mandela effect occurs when realities or timelines overlap, causing memories from other versions of reality to bleed into our own. Each time a quantum decision is made, every moment, every event, every choice, new branches of reality are created. These parallel universes may be so similar to ours that they overlap and influence our memories, causing us to recall events differently. Perhaps in one universe, Mandela did die in prison in the 1980s, and in another, he did not. The Mandela effect, then, could be a residue of those alternate realities seeping into our consciousness through the cracks of the multiverse. Could our dreams be connected to the Mandela effect? If the Mandela effect is indeed caused by parallel universes overlapping with our own, it raises an intriguing question. Could our dreams be connected to this phenomenon? Could the dreams we experience, especially the vivid, hyper-realistic dreams, be glimpses into these parallel worlds or alternate timeline? Dreams have long been a source of mystery, often believed to be a reflection of the unconscious mind. But what if, in our dreams, we are not just processing thoughts and memories, but accessing other versions of reality? The vividness and strangeness of some dreams where time and space seem to bend, where we meet versions of ourselves living out alternate lives, might be a way for our consciousness to briefly slip into alternate universes, experiencing events from parallel timeline. For example, many people have reported déjà vu, the sensation of having already experienced a moment in time. Could this be a fleeting memory from another version of you in a parallel universe where that exact moment occurred? What if some dreams are not purely imaginary but real experiences from alternate worlds where different choices have led to different outcomes? Could our memories of those dreams be crossing over into our waking consciousness, just like the Mandela effect? False memories versus parallel universes influencing our collective consciousness. The Mandela effect challenges our understanding of memory itself. We tend to think of memories as fixed, stable representations of the past, reliable recordings of events that we can draw upon for understanding and decision-making. But what if our memories are more fluid, more vulnerable to the influence of external factors like the potential existence of parallel universes? What if our collective consciousness is not a single, static entity, but a vast network of interwoven timelines, each with its own version of reality? The contrast between these two views is stark. On one side, we have the traditional understanding of memory, that our minds store accurate representations of the past, which can be recalled or altered due to psychological factors like bias, trauma, or suggestion. On the other side, we have the quantum possibility that our memories, particularly the collective memories associated with the Mandela effect, are influenced by the very structure of reality itself, where multiple timelines, parallel universes, and quantum states are constantly interacting, merging, and crossing over. If memories from alternate timelines are indeed bleeding into our own, it would suggest that reality itself is more fluid than we think. Time might not be a fixed, unidirectional stream, but a vast web of possibilities with different versions of ourselves experiencing different outcomes in parallel universes. The Mandela effect in this light is not simply a case of faulty memories, but a glimpse into the true nature of reality, a multi-layered, multi-dimensional existence where the boundaries between universes are not always clear, and memories from one universe can spill over into another. The Mandela effect as a gateway to parallel realities. The Mandela effect remains one of the most intriguing and mysterious phenomena in modern consciousness studies. Whether it's misremembered logos, historical events, or famous phrases, the phenomenon suggests that our collective memories might not be as reliable as we once thought. But what if these discrepancies are not merely the result of cognitive biases, but are actually evidence of parallel universes where different realities bleed into ours, influencing our memories and experiences? If the Mandela effect is a sign of parallel universes interacting with our own, then our dreams, those strange, vivid, and often incomprehensible experiences, may be more than just random bursts of the subconscious mind. Perhaps they are a portal to these alternate realities, a glimpse into the infinite number of versions of ourselves and the worlds we inhabit. The Mandela effect challenges us to rethink the nature of memory, reality, and consciousness. If our memories are indeed influenced by parallel universe, then we may be living in a reality that is far more fluid, far more interconnected, and far more mysterious than we have ever imagined. The science of sleep. What happens in our mind while we dream? Imagine lying in bed, eyes closed, drifting into a deep slumber. Slowly, your body relaxes, your muscles soften, and your mind begins to retreat into the realm of sleep. But what exactly is happening inside your brain during these mysterious hours? While you sleep, your body may rest, but your brain is anything but inactive. In fact, it is buzzing with activity, organizing memories, processing emotions, and of course, generating dreams, those strange, vivid landscapes where the rules of time and space blur, and the impossible becomes reality. But how do dreams emerge? From the brain? How does the neural activity during sleep give rise to the complex and surreal experiences we call dreams? Are they simply random firings of neurons, as many have suggested, or could they be something far more profound, connected to deeper, hidden realms, perhaps even tapping into quantum states or parallel dimensions? Sleep and dreams are some of the most profound mysteries of human existence. Though we've studied sleep for centuries, there's still much we don't understand about what exactly happens during the process of restful sleep. In particular, the stage of sleep known as REM, rapid eye movement, is intimately connected to dreaming, yet we are still unraveling how the brain generates the vivid experiences we encounter in our dreams. Some scientists believe that dreams are simply a byproduct of brain activity, a way for the brain to consolidate memories and process emotions. Others speculate that dreams may be more than that, perhaps even windows into alternate realities or quantum states. In this section, we will explore the science behind sleep, particularly the role of REM sleep in generating dreams. We'll delve into how the brain works during sleep, how it processes memories, and how it regulates emotions. And we'll explore the tantalizing possibility that the quantum realm may be more than just a theoretical concept, but a dimension that our minds can access while we sleep, allowing us to experience parallel dimensions or tap into a deeper, more profound understanding of reality. Stages of rest sleep is a complex biological process divided into several stages. These stages cycle throughout the night, with each stage serving a different purpose in the body's restoration. The sleep cycle can be broken down into two main categories: non-rapid eye movement, NRM sleep, and rapid eye movement, REM sleep. NREM sleep is made up of three stages. Stage 1, the lightest stage of sleep, where the body relaxes and the mind begins to disengage from the environment. This is the transition from wakefulness to sleep, and it is common to experience hypnic jerks, sudden muscle twitches, as the body enters rest. Stage 2, the body's temperature drops and heart rate slows, brain waves become slower, and the body enters a deeper state of rest. This stage accounts for the largest portion of our sleep cycle. Stage 3, the deepest stage of NREM sleep, also known as slow wave sleep or deep sleep. This is the most restorative phase of sleep, where the body performs essential repair processes, consolidates memories, and strengthens the immune system. But it's REM sleep that is most intimately connected to dreaming. REM sleep occurs about 90 minutes after falling asleep and is characterized by rapid eye movements, increased brain activity, and vivid, often bizarre dreams. It's during REM sleep that the brain is highly active, almost as active as when we are awake, but our bodies are paralyzed to prevent us from acting out our dreams. This phase of sleep is thought to be crucial for memory consolidation, emotional regulation, and cognitive processing, neural activity, and dream generation. During REM sleep, the brain undergoes an extraordinary transformation. While the body is at rest, the brain becomes highly active, generating electrical impulses that resemble waking patterns. EEG studies of the brain show that during REM, the brain produces low-voltage, mixed-frequency waves, much like when we are awake and engaged in intense mental activity. This is why REM sleep is also referred to as the stage of sleep most reminiscent of wakefulness, and it's when we experience the most vivid and often surreal dream. The neural activity during REM sleep is thought to originate in the brain stem, where it triggers the thalamus and cortex regions of the brain responsible for sensory processing and consciousness. These areas of the brain are involved in memory consolidation, a process in which the brain solidifies and organizes the events and information from the day. As memories are processed, they are woven into dreams, often in symbolic or fragmented forms. At the same time, the amygdala, the brain's emotional center, becomes highly active during REM sleep. This heightened emotional activity might explain why dreams are often filled with intense feelings of fear, joy, sadness, or excitement. The limbic system, which governs emotional responses, also plays a key role in dream generation, creating dreams that are emotionally charged and highly subjective. From a biological perspective, dreams are seen as a way for the brain to process emotions, memories, and sensory input from the day. This has led many scientists to conclude that dreams are simply a byproduct of the brain's effort to make sense of the world. But if dreams are merely a result of neural firing, then why do they often feel so real, so vivid, and so meaningful? Why do some people experience precognitive dreams or feel as if they are living another life in a parallel world in which events unfold completely differently from their waking life? Could sleep unlock parallel realities? While the classical understanding of dreams focuses on neural activity, memory, and emotion, there is a growing body of speculative thought suggesting that the brain may be tapping into something far deeper, something quantum in nature. Could the mind be accessing quantum states or even parallel dimensions during sleep, particularly during REM sleep, when the brain is most active and the boundaries between consciousness and unconsciousness blur? At the core of quantum mechanics lies the concept of superposition, where particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously. In the many worlds interpretation, MWI, Every quantum decision creates a new branch of reality, resulting in an infinite number of parallel universes. What if our brains, as quantum processors, can tap into these parallel realities during the dream state, experiencing alternate versions of ourselves and different timelines? If the brain is capable of processing quantum information, it might not be limited to the local reality of the waking world. Instead, it could interact with the quantum field, accessing parallel universes or alternate dimensions during sleep. This could explain why some lucid dreamers report experiencing hyper-realistic dreams that feel like real visits to other worlds. If our minds are attuned to the quantum field during sleep, we may be able to explore alternate versions of ourselves and different timelines, much as quantum particles can interact with one another across space and time, regardless of distance. The idea that the brain could function as a quantum process also suggests that sleep might be a time for deep quantum exploration, where the mind navigates the vast landscape of the multiverse. If consciousness is not confined to the brain, but instead connected to the quantum field, then it's possible that while we sleep, our minds are temporarily freed from the constraints of the physical world, allowing us to access different realities and experience parallel lives. Brain activity versus quantum connection. The contrast between dreams as brain activity and the possibility of dreams as quantum experiences is striking. On one side, we have the traditional classical view. Dreams are a product of the brain's neural activity, a reflection of the mind's need to process emotions, memories, and sensory input. In this model, the brain is the generator of dreams, and dreams are a purely internal experience. On the other side, we have the quantum view, that dreams are not just the result of neural activity, but are access points to alternate realities, a way for consciousness to tap into the vast quantum field and interact with parallel universes, alternate timelines, and infinite possibility. In this view, dreams are more than just mental constructs. They are glimpses into the true nature of reality, where the brain functions as a quantum processor, capable of accessing information and experiences from beyond the waking world. This contrast invites us to rethink the very nature of consciousness and dream. If the brain is a quantum processor, then perhaps our dreams are not just reflections of our subconscious mind, but access points to the quantum multiverse, where the boundaries between physical reality and alternate dimensions are far less rigid than we've ever imagined. Dreams as portals to the quantum field. The science of sleep continues to reveal fascinating insights into how the brain functions during rest. But the mystery of dreams remains an enigma. While we understand how dreams are connected to memory, emotion, and neural activity, the possibility that dreams could also be windows into parallel dimensions or quantum states opens up a whole new realm of possibility. Could our mind, in a state of sleep, be interacting with the quantum field, accessing alternate versions of ourselves and different realities? Could REM sleep be the time when the brain taps into the quantum multiverse, allowing us to experience the infinite possibilities of existence? Whether as a byproduct of brain activity or as a profound quantum experience, dreams remain one of the most mysterious aspects of consciousness, and perhaps they are the key to unlocking the deepest secrets of the mind and the universe. Could dreams be messages from other realities? Every night, as you slip into sleep, you enter a world unlike any other, a world where the rules of time, space, and logic dissolve. You may find yourself flying, meeting long-lost friends, or walking through streets that feel both familiar and alien at the same time. You may experience joy, fear, or a deep sense of awe as your mind weaves these intricate and surreal stories. Yet, as you awaken, you often wonder, was it all just a dream, or was it something more? What if dreams are not simply random neural firings, as many neuroscientists suggest, but something far more profound? What if dreams are messages, transmissions from parallel universes, alternate realities, or even other beings in distant dimensions? Could your dreams be glimpses into lives that exist in parallel worlds, offering a view of alternate versions of yourself or experiences beyond the confines of your waking reality? This is a speculative idea, one that challenges our most basic understanding of reality and consciousness. For centuries, people have wondered about the meaning of dreams, from ancient civilizations to modern psychologists. Dreams have been interpreted as reflections of the subconscious, projections of our inner thoughts and desires. But what if dreams are not merely personal, subconscious experiences, but windows into other realms, other timelines, or other dimensions entirely? Could your mind, in its sleep state, be receiving transmissions from parallel realities or alternate versions of yourself, offering insights or glimpses into lives you have never lived? Could these dreams, these vivid emotional experiences, be a form of interdimensional communication, where the boundaries of time and space are transcended and consciousness can travel between worlds? Random neural firings or subconscious processing? 2. Understand the speculative nature of this question. It's important to first consider the traditional view of dreams. For much of modern science, dreams have been understood as the brain's way of processing information, emotions, and memories. According to this view, dreams are internal experiences, products of the brain's activity as it sorts through the events of the day, consolidates memory, and attempts to make sense of emotional experience. Psychologists like Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung have explored the meaning behind dreams, suggesting that they are manifestations of the unconscious mind. Freud believed that dreams were the royal road to the unconscious, revealing hidden desires, fears, and unresolved conflicts. Jung expanded on this idea, suggesting that dreams tap into a deeper, collective unconscious shared by all humans and filled with universal symbols and archetype. From a neuroscientific standpoint, dreams are often thought to be the result of random neural activity. According to the activation synthesis hypothesis, the brain generates dreams in response to random signals generated during REM sleep. The brain attempts to make sense of these random signals, creating a narrative that can seem familiar or meaningful, but is ultimately just a biological byproduct of neural firing. This view treats dreams as internal, subjective experiences that are generated by the mind with little connection to the outside world. Dreams are thought to be random noise brain activity that lacks any external purpose or significance. But what if this view is incomplete? What if dreams are not just random firings of neuron, but intentional communications messages from other realities or even other versions of ourselves, reaching across dimensions? Dreams as messages from parallel universes. What if the vividness and realness of our dreams are not just tricks of the mind, but actual experiences from parallel universes, alternate versions of ourselves living different lives? Could our dreams be a form of quantum communication, where consciousness is temporarily freed from the constraints of the physical brain, allowing us to interact with parallel timeline or even other beings in alternate dimensions? The many-world interpretation, MWI, of quantum mechanics proposes that every quantum decision, every possibility branches off into a new universe, creating a multiverse of parallel realities. These alternate realities are not just theoretical constructs, they are as real as our own universe, existing side by side, with different outcomes based on different choices and events. In this view, our consciousness, far from being confined to a single timeline, might be capable of accessing these parallel universes during sleep. What if, when we dream, we are not just reliving memories or processing emotion, but slipping into other realities, experiencing different versions of our lives, meeting alternate versions of ourselves, or even interacting with beings from other dimensions? Could our dreams be the result of quantum entanglement, where our minds are connected to these alternate worlds, receiving transmissions from the quantum field, from other realities that exist just beyond our perception? Consider this. How many times have you experienced a dream that felt so real, so vivid, that it seemed to carry a message, a sense of meaning, or even a sense of déjà vu? Perhaps you've encountered someone in a dream, a person you've never met, yet their face feels familiar. Maybe you found yourself in a place that seemed to exist in your memory, even though you've never visited it in waking life. Could These encounters be glimpses into parallel lives, moments from alternate universes, where versions of you are making different decisions, living out different experiences, a collective portal to parallel reality. What makes the idea of dreams as messages from parallel universes even more fascinating is the concept of shared dreams that are experienced by more than one person, where two or more individuals report the same or very similar dream experiences. These shared dreams are often so vivid and specific that they cannot easily be explained away as coincidences or subconscious projections. In some cases, people report dreaming of the same places, characters, or events, all while being unaware of each other's dreams. Could these shared dreams be a form of quantum communication, a connection between individuals whose minds are temporarily entangled across realities? What if these dreams are not just psychological constructs, but genuine encounters with other versions of reality where different timelines intersect and overlap in ways that allow us to experience shared moments across dimensions? If dreams can be shared across individuals, it opens up the possibility that consciousness is not a localized phenomenon confined to a single mind or body, but is instead connected to a larger interdimensional network where the boundaries between individuals' time and space become more fluid. Could we be tapping into a collective consciousness that spans multiple universes, interacting with alternate versions of ourselves and other beings from distant dimensions? Dreams as interdimensional encounters. The quantum mind. What makes this idea even more intriguing is the theory that our brains may not be purely classical in nature, but may also function as quantum processors. If the brain is capable of processing quantum information, then it could theoretically interact with the quantum field and access alternate realities during sleep. This would explain why dreams sometimes feel so vivid, so meaningful, and so real. They may be glimpses into realities that exist just beyond our waking perception. According to the OR theory, orchestrated objective reduction, proposed by physicist Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff, the brain's neurons may actually function as quantum computers, capable of processing quantum information and tapping into the quantum field. In this view, dreams are not just the result of neural firing, but the brain's way of interacting with the quantum fabric of reality, a process that might allow us to access alternate universes, experience parallel lives, and even communicate with other beings in distant realities. If our brains are truly quantum in nature, then the possibilities for what we can experience during sleep are endless. Dreams might not just be a reflection of our inner world, they could be a way for our minds to explore the multiverse, to travel through time and space, and to experience the infinite possibilities that exist within the quantum field. Random noise versus quantum messages. The traditional view of dreams as products of the subconscious mind, created by random neural firings and emotional processing, contrasts sharply with the speculative idea that dreams are messages from other realities. On one side, we have the biological explanation. Dreams are a byproduct of the brain's attempt to organize memories, emotions, and experiences. They are random noise shaped by the neural circuits of the mind. On the other side, we have the quantum explanation. Dreams are not random, but meaningful encounters with alternate realities, where consciousness slips between dimensions, tapping into the vast quantum field and accessing parallel universe. In this view, dreams are transmissions, messages from other versions of ourselves, from alternate timelines, or from other beings that exist beyond our perception of time and space. Dreams as messages from the multiverse. The idea that dreams could be messages from other realities, portals into parallel worlds and alternate timeline, challenges everything we think we know about consciousness, reality, and the nature of the universe. If the brain is capable of processing quantum information, then our dreams may not be just reflections of our subconscious, but genuine interdimensional encounters where we tap into the infinite possibilities that exist within the quantum fabric. Whether as glimpses into parallel universe, encounters with alternate versions of ourselves, or transmissions from other dimensions, the potential for what we can experience far beyond. As we continue to explore the mysteries of dreams, consciousness, and the quantum mind, we may find that our dreams are not just random mental activity, but profound messages from the multiverse, offering us a deeper connection to the vast, interconnected realities that lie just beyond our waking world. Closing, reflections, dreams, consciousness, and the infinite. Unknown, what if dreams are not just our mind's way of processing the day, not simply the random firing of neurons, the byproduct of memories and emotions coming together in a tangled, often absurd narrative? What if, instead, dreams are glimpses, fleeting windows into the vast, interconnected web of parallel realities where every possibility, every choice, and every outcome exists simultaneously across the quantum multiverse? As we come to the end of this journey through the mysteries of consciousness, quantum mechanics, and the nature of dreams, we are left with more questions than answers. And perhaps that's as it should be, for the true wonder of this exploration isn't in the certainty of answers, but in the profound unknown, the infinite potential of what might be, and what we have yet to uncover about our own minds and the universe around us. We've ventured through many theories and speculations that the mind could be a quantum processor capable of interacting with parallel universes during sleep, that lucid dreams might not be mere figments of imagination, but actual encounters with alternate versions of ourselves living in parallel worlds, and that the Mandela effect, shared false memories, and the vividness of dreams might be the result of our minds tapping into realities beyond our own. All these ideas point toward one central question: what is the true nature of consciousness, and what role do dreams play in understanding it? Dreams as glimpses into the multiverse? To begin to contemplate this, let's return to a fundamental idea that has emerged through the course of our exploration: the many worlds interpretation, MWI, of quantum mechanics. According to MWI, every choice, every quantum event leads to the splitting of reality, the creation of parallel universes, each one unfolding with its own timeline, its own version of events, and its own set of possibilities. It's a vast, interconnected multiverse where every decision creates a new branching reality, and within this web of infinite possibilities, countless versions of ourselves exist, each living out different lives based on different choices. Could our dreams be a way for our consciousness to experience these other realities? Could they be portals through which we momentarily step into parallel universes where other versions of ourselves make different decisions, live different lives, and face different outcomes? If consciousness is not a localized biological phenomenon, but something that transcends the confines of the brain, then perhaps our dreams are not simply reflections of the mind, but glimpses into the infinite web of realities that coexist just beyond our perception. Imagine the possibility. Each night, as you close your eyes and slip into the world of dreams, you might not just be revisiting memories or processing emotions. You could be visiting alternate versions of yourself, experiencing lives you have never lived, walking down different paths, encountering different people, and making different decisions. Your dreams could be the echoes of those lives, calling out to you from alternate worlds, offering insights into the infinite possibilities that exist within the multiverse. A deeper mystery. But what does this mean for our understanding of consciousness itself? If dreams are more than just internal experiences, if they are truly windows into parallel realities, then consciousness may not be the product of the brain at all. Perhaps it is a quantum phenomenon, intricately tied to the fabric of reality itself, able to traverse the boundaries of space and time, accessing information and experiences that exist across multiple dimensions. This radically shifts how we view the mind. If consciousness is not just a byproduct of neural activity, but a field and non-local phenomenon capable of tapping into quantum states, alternate realities, and even communicating across dimensions, then everything we thought we knew about the mind must be reconsidered. The brain, rather than being the source of consciousness, might simply be a quantum processor that channels consciousness from a deeper cosmic source. But what does it mean for us, as humans, to contemplate such a possibility? If our consciousness is capable of interacting with alternate versions of reality, what does this say about the nature of free will, choice, and destiny? Do our actions create new branches of reality? And if so, could our dreams be echoes of those parallel versions of ourselves? Could it be that as we dream, we are catching fleeting glimpses of our other selves living different lives, making different choices, experiencing different fates? These questions pull us to the heart of an even deeper mystery. What is consciousness, really? Is it just a product of the brain, or is it something much larger, something that transcends the physical body, connecting us to the very fabric of the universe? An invitation to explore. As we reflect on these questions, we must acknowledge the vastness of what we do not know. For centuries, science, philosophy, and spirituality have tried to define and understand consciousness. Some have seen it as a byproduct of biology, others as an immaterial force that connects us to the cosmos. In the world of dreams, we encounter a space where the boundaries between mind, body, and reality blur, a space where anything is possible and the impossible becomes reality. But perhaps the most profound realization we can have is that we are only beginning to scratch the surface. What if the nature of consciousness, the very essence of who we are, is not just a biological mystery, but a quantum riddle waiting to be understood? What if dreams are not simply random neural activity, but glimpses into the infinite possibilities of existence, offering us a window into the deepest layers of reality? And perhaps most profoundly, what if the ultimate nature of consciousness is unknown beyond the reach of even our most advanced scientific theories? What if, like the quantum world itself, consciousness is a vast, uncharted mystery, always slipping just out of our grasp, yet inviting us to explore its infinite depth? Dreams as messages from other worlds. As we venture into the speculative, we might ask, could it be that our dreams are messages not just from our subconscious, but from other worlds? Could our minds, in their sleep, be accessing information from parallel dimensions, experiencing lives that are playing out in alternate realities? Could these dreams be not just random fragments, but echoes of other versions of ourselves, existing in universes that are just one step away from our own? For some, this idea might seem too fantastical, too removed from our current understanding of science. But it is also the very essence of speculation to wonder about the mysteries that lie beyond our grasp, to entertain the possibility that there is more to our reality than we can comprehend. Perhaps the true nature of dream is not to be found in science alone, but in the mystery itself, in the awe-inspiring realization that consciousness and the universe may be far more interconnected, multidimensional, and mysterious than we have ever imagined. Our dreams, then, might not just be visions of the night, but portals to other worlds, other versions of ourselves waiting to be understood. An open invitation. As we close this journey, we are left with an open-ended reflection. What if dreams are not just our mind's way of processing the day, but glimpses into the infinite web of parallel realities? What if our consciousness is not confined to a single, linear timeline, but is capable of traversing dimensions, accessing alternate versions of ourselves, and experiencing the infinite possibilities that exist in the quantum multiverse? And in that vast, infinite space, could it be that our dreams are not just visions of the night, but echoes from other worlds, where different choices lead to different realities, where different versions of us live out different lives, each one equally real, equally valid, and equally profound? Perhaps the greatest mystery of all is not in the answers we find, but in the questions we continue to ask. The journey of understanding consciousness and the nature of dreams is just beginning, and with each step, we inch closer to uncovering the most profound truth of all, that reality, in all its infinite complexity, is far more mysterious and wondrous than we could have ever imagined. Could it be that our dreams are not just visions of the night, but echoes from other worlds waiting to be understood?